All right. I think it's live. It's hard for me to tell.
All right.
It's live. Okay. So if you're watching this, I'm going to do a little bit of live development coding here. I've been playing with Unity for a couple of weeks. I want to start to build a project using the different tools and things that I know or that I'm learning, and I want to see if I can make a really rudimentary project. I'm just starting it today. That's why I'm calling it the Launchpad. So if you're tuning in at some point, the idea of the Launchpad is I'm literally the rocket's sitting on the ground right now. So haven't even started the project. So I figured I'd start right from there. So we're going to create this project. It's going to do its thing. Pull that up in the background. Uh-oh, what was that? Maybe I won't use Unity version control then. I don't want it to be connected to Unity Cloud. Yeah, I'm going to let it cook a little bit. Okay. So I use OneNote for communicating different projects with different people. And not now. You're not synchronized. Yeah, that's fine. Nope, stop. All right. Yeah, we got to clean up barf because the cat barfed in my office again. It's exciting. So, yeah, I basically what I want to do is I want to get a top-down controller working so that I can move a character around WASD style. I want a main menu, which is just a menu screen, and we want a couple of options. But the big thing is when you instance a level, you start by falling from above, and then you have a little bit of control over the item, the pod as it drops, and then once it hits, it instances the player prefab, and then the player can assume control of the player prefab. Camera switches to them, and so there's a couple things I need to work out. I'd like to have shooting as well. I just don't know if that's going to work. So I'm calling it Project Albany for a specific reason. If you know, you know. But this is one of several prototyping phases to maybe build a little game. Um, so we'll see. It's very, very early days. I've been working with Unity as kind of the C# focus for like a month, maybe. I built a memory game. I built a really rudimentary first-person shooter from scratch. Basically, it's a walking simulator. There's a gun, but the gun doesn't do much. It instances spheres where a raycast detects a hit on a properly collidable object. And I've played around a little bit with 3D third person stuff. It's Rubicon here, and I've played a little bit with the top down shooter. So I'm working on. We're going to start from literally scratch. I played around with this idea yesterday and mapped out some of what I wanted to do, but to a degree, some of this will be literally learning on the fly, which I thought was kind of interesting. Um, and maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so a couple things I want to make sure I have are Cinemachine, Unity registry. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, crap. I didn't mean to do that. Cinemachine is installed. Maybe it's not. Oh. Alright, we'll come back to that then, I guess. Alright, so what do we need? We have our main camera, we've got our directional light, we're going to create an empty, we're going to call it environment, and then we're going to, within the environment, we are going to double check, reset, and create a cube Cube transform reset. We're going to call this 100 by 100. Gives us a nice plane to play on. Don't need this right now. Okay. Actually, let's call this 1,000 by 1,000. I maybe should be using the terrain generator, but I'll be honest, I don't know how yet. So, and this only needs to be 0.125. Whoa, it didn't like that. There it is. Okay. Come on. Riveting. Riveting television here. All right. Do 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 do. You know, I wonder, does Unity work with drawing tablet for terrain? Drawing tablet with Unity. All right. I mean, I'm sure it does. Anyone? Okay. What drawing tablet? All right, cool. OIC? What does that mean? All right, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, whatever. So, we also need to do, so anyway, the right package managers, not in project. We need to search for Cinemachine, and then Pro Builder is the other one. Okay, so neither of these are installed. That sucks. All right, well, we got our cube. We're going to call that flat plane, or no, we'll call that the ground. Well, it was fast at least. You're getting the full experience, I suppose. Okay, ground, and then we're going to go to our project, and in our assets, we are going to create a couple folders. So we're going to call this scripts, create folder, prefabs, create folder, materials. Okay, and then in materials, create material. We're going to color this dark blue. Okay, and then in scripts, nope, not scripts, we need to create an empty layer character. Helps if I spell it right. Helps if I spell it right. And then create 3D object. We're just going to do a capsule. All right. Zoom in on our guy. So clearly he's not in the right place yet. We need to work on that. Perfect. Okay. Now, components. Does not need this. Remove component. Mesh render is fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Character controller. Looks okay to me. Move up slightly. All right. And what else do we need here? Oh, we need a drop pod. Create empty drop pod. And create 3D object. We want a cube. Drop pod graphic. Okay, we're going to move this up. And then we're going to, whoa, we are going to scale it. So on the y-axis, we want it to come up a lot. So 3, and then still too small. That's probably too big. It looks better. Okay. All right, drop pod, move it up. Oh no, that was dumb. That was the box collider itself. 2, 4, 2, 1, 1, 1. Okay. All right. So there's our drop pod, and our guy is right there. That looks more or less like a good size. I'm not that worried about this thing's shape overall. Okay, but we do need some materials. So create material, metal. We're gonna do mid-tone gray, and then our metallic is gonna come up, and we will reduce the smoothness, drop it onto this. That looks okay for what we're doing. We're only pathfinding right now. We're not worrying about little stuff. And for our troop, we want white, and we'll do player. We want him to be white so he really stands out, but we want him to be smooth. Real smooth. Like 0.75 smooth. Okay, and then we'll drop this on player. Okay, now we've got a little bit of shine on both of them. What did I do? Oh. Ground. You know what? I'm feeling on this that this should maybe be, yeah, more smooth. So we'll do 0.6 here. All right, I think that looks better. Okay, so we have a big playing field to play on, and at the moment we need to write some scripts. So, oh, you know what? We don't know. The one thing we don't know is where the front of this thing is. So, 3D object. We'll do a cube. We're going to shrink this down to 0.25. Nope. 0.5. 0.5. 0.5. And I always forget what is the front of the character. I think it's this side. So that is the x-axis. So we'll go to 0.125. And it's a little thin. We'll go to 0.125 for the y-axis, and for the z-axis, we'll go to 3. Nope, 3 is too big. 2. Okay. We'll go to 1. We'll just pull this out a little bit, and then we'll add a metal to him, and the location of our gun is going to be up. So what that allows us to do, actually, I'm seeing that this could be a potential problem. If we're way out here, we might not be able to see that. So we're going to give the gun a player material, because this will indicate the direction that it's facing for now until we have something more complicated. I do need another material for the enemy. This is going to be a red. Very red. Little metallic, little smooth. Just so it's not boring. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Alright, and then save. We do need a new create new scene. This will be home menu. And we're going to rename this as level 1. And then in edit, project settings, where are you? Editor, no. Version control, nope, nope, nope. Where is it? Package, graphics, editor. Well, it doesn't matter at the moment. Okay. All right. So now we also need some scripts. So first and foremost, let's just move the camera so that we can test this effectively. Okay. That camera up. Let's get an idea of what we're looking at here. And why is the player... Oh, I moved him. Okay. Alright, so we are going to deactivate the player from the inspector anyway, because we don't want to deal with that first. We want to deal with this. So, create C# script drop pod controller. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a really basic drop pod controller. We need to get it onto the drop pod itself, and it's probably time to make the drop pod a prefab and the player character a prefab, and then we can delete player character for the moment, and we will work out of this prefab element here. So when it's like this, it means it's a prefab. We're going to deal with the drop pod controller. We also need, I think we need, well, we're going to do a character controller. Yeah. So I could do a rigid body. Maybe I do want to do a rigid body. Yeah. Let's do rigid body. Okay, so now it should interact. It should interact with this. However, if I do it this way, I'm going to need a collider. And it's a trigger. And it needs to be 0.125. No, it needs to be even smaller, 0.0125. That'll work. Okay. And then needs to come, nope. It needs to come down quite a ways. We'll do this at negative 0.5. Okay, so what will happen is if this collider detects .035. Okay, so if this collider detects the trigger, then it will deactivate the player's control over the drop pod, and then eventually we'll get it so that if you click, it will spawn a player at the front. So that's our first step here. All right. So drop pod graphic has that on. So let's go open this bad boy up. And we're keeping this very simple. So let's see. Let's 3D object. We want another cylinder. No. Take that back. Delete. Delete. Get out of here. We want a 3D object that is a cube. We want this to be scaled down to 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. But actually, we want this at 1.5. And we're going to move it out here. And we're going to rotate it on the x-axis slightly, or we're not. Huh. Why aren't you rotating? Hello? That'll do. We'll do 20. There we go. We're going to duplicate it. And we're going to call this right fin. This is the left. We'll do, actually, fin left, fin right. Okay. And this just needs to be a negative, and that needs to be a positive. Okay. Now we have our drop pod. It's ugly, but it'll do. We can replace it with real graphics later. So at the moment, save it. Nothing should happen. Yep. So it just falls. Okay. However, I do notice that this bad boy has bamboozled me, and we need to rotate these 90 degrees. Nope. 90 over here. Copy component. Paste component values. Negative. Oh, well, that's not helpful. Zero, -1, 25, 90. Okay. Now we need 1, 0, -25, and we're back to symmetrical. Okay. All right. Now, the drop pod is great. So you open the ad for the software, and you didn't actually open the script that I asked for. Okay. So we need a what do we want to do? So drop pod needs to be slightly steerable. Drop pod needs to instance a player model. Drop pod needs to be breakable. So first thing that jumps to mind is a serialize field int breaking force serialize int max breaking force. No, I don't think we want that, but we do need serialized int for the max delta, I guess. Maneuver speed. Okay. And because we have the rigid body component, we already have gravity functional. We don't have to do anything for that. Do. Oh, that didn't work the way I thought it would. Why didn't that work the way I thought it would? That's a bigger question. Oh, you know what? I bet you I know why. I bet it's because these are in there. Yep, there it is. Okay. Okay. So now we can come back to this. I don't know. We'll do 5.0f. And we'll do 3.0f. I don't know what the appropriate force is here. Okay. So, and you know what else we need is a. Well, for now we'll do public bool is grounded, and is grounded equals. No, actually, what do we need? All right, so first, private. So let's work on making it slightly steerable. So private rigid body, and then body equals component rigid body, and we need float delta x equals input dot get axis horizontal, float delta y equals input dot get axis vertical. Actually, it should be delta z. And then vector 3 maneuvering equals new vector 3 delta x 0 for the y-axis delta z times time dot delta time times maneuver speed. Okay. And then we'll do body dot transform equals maneuver. I don't think this is going to work. Something's wrong with this. Body dot velocity. What's this have to say? Let's check the Unity API. Rigid body dot add force. Body dot add force. Vector 3 force. Maneuver. Get component. Children. Okay. Rigid body, M rigid body. Float, M thrust. Fixed update. Well, okay, so let's save it and see what happens. I'm not convinced here. I think something's wrong with it. Yeah, it's not working. Okay, so something's not connected here. That's the problem. Something's up with this. It's part of the learning process, though. Add force, delta x, 0, delta z. And this is part of the learning process. So we've got 10. All right, let's turn that up and see if it changes anything. No, so it's not moving. I wonder why it's not connected. Box collider, drop pod controller. Is it... It should be getting the rigid body from the children. Let's see. I want to compare this to a real script. So this is right. Thrust. But it's not being applied anywhere. If we turn that off, and that, and then we add the drop pod controller to this. Okay. I think I see. That might be the problem. Nope. Okay. There is no rigid body. Get component in children. It should be able to get the component in the children. I don't see what the problem is. Lock that. So why is it not getting the rigid body in the children? Yeah, it's not connecting to it. Okay. All right, so we're on to something now. Troubleshooting. All right, get component. Come on. Still nothing. What the hell? 50. I don't care. Let's just see. Nothing. Doesn't want to do anything. Alright, so something's busted here. Why is this not connecting? This whole thing is grayed out. Update. Let's do a debug. What's movement have to say? Nothing. Movement has nothing to say. Okay. Nope. No, go back. I don't want to look at you anymore. Drop pod. Delete. Drop pod. Nothing. Nothing. Oh boy, I don't know. I've never seen this happen before. This should be in its own method, which would be movement, but that's just gray. So why is it gray? See, look, now it's okay. Let's see if I can... Nope. It's not a variable. Okay. Interesting. Body up equals get component rigid body. It's not a variable. Just immediately grays out. I don't get it. It's unused. Times maneuver speed. See, that should now that's white. Okay. Drop pod controller update is unused. Drop pod controller start is unused. So why? It's not unused. It's being used right here. Oops. So that shouldn't even be there. This should be get component in children, rigid body. And then also we should have a private collider ground detector equals, there's nothing. Ground detector equals get component collider. So why isn't that being used? I almost wonder if I need to reboot Unity. This is weird. I don't understand why update wouldn't be called. Okay, so that's moved now, and then I guess we'll write another method real quick. Private void okay, that's a start. Oh, look, it's decided to wake up. Now everything looks like it's working. Now it's not working. What the heck? I don't think I need an object here. That would be ridiculous. On if what is it on collision? That's not helpful. Come on, Unity docs. This should be on. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. On trigger enter. Collider. Well, I'm going to reboot Unity. I don't understand. Something is wrong, and I don't get it. Okay. Let's clean up my code. Oh, look. It broke again. Something's wrong here. Public float maneuver speed equals 5.0f. Wow, this is really frustrating. I don't get it. What was that? The value assigned to it is never read. We are gonna close this. Something is like spooky with this script. It's very weird that start itself is not calling anything. I mean, I can go get my book. I'm just trying to do this on my own. But I feel like something is not connected the right way. Public, private, rigid, body, body. Body equals get component rigid body Why does that immediately shut off? Nothing. Okay, so now we're reading force. Oh, something's happening. Okay. So that is not what we want. But it was something. Oh boy, this is really aggravating. So that was add torque. Let's try this. Whoa, okay, alright, so that works. Hey. You what?
I'm gonna have a picnic.